Thank you for joining us for another episode of Talk for 10. Today, we're going to sit down with Larry Mike. He just got elected on the Arlington School Board last year and figure out some of the insight and what he's learned so far.
All right, first question. So Larry, what are you most proud of during your time on the school board so far?
I think there's several things to be proud of, what we do for the community and our children of these schools. But if I had to go for one thing, it would be going to read to them, along with visiting the schools, but having the opportunity to read to them is just an amazing experience that I urge every citizen in Arlington to do. The principals and teachers, they give that request out. And when you go and read, at least for me, I don't read as myself. I put on my alter ego, which is Miles Morales, a version of Spider-Man. And when I tell you, they go ballistic, they go ballistic. There's one school that I went to, they sent me these pictures of me dressed as Miles Morales, but then I have a whole host of thank you cards, like some version of Spider-Man. Like it is the best thing ever to receive that. And I think as parents, you know, when your kids draw you something, it's just like, oh, they thought about you. But an entire class is drawing this with the one thing that they remember tells you that what you're doing as a trustee is vitally important. And if you keep our children at the forefront of your mind throughout every decision that you do, you won't stray. So that's the thing that I'm most proud of.
So what should parents or community members, what is the one thing that they should be paying more attention to when it comes to local education policy?
You know, I think the one thing that parents and our stakeholders and community members should pay attention to when it comes to local education policy are the board meetings. The school board meetings are the actual places that you can get the information necessary to know what's going on in the district, because it'll be pressing items that we as school board members think are important for us to deliberate over. A lot of times the easy access, and there's pros and cons with social media. One of the cons with social media is that anything that's not true can be posted and it'll run like wildfire unchecked. And a lot of times parents and community members, they go there and they see something and they believe that as the gospel. But what we have to do is retrain our mind to understand that, look, if you see a piece of information, if you hear a piece of information, the way to get the right information is to go directly to the horse's mouth and hear it from there, which would be the school board meetings. They are broadcast on YouTube. They're put on the YouTube page, but they're broadcast the same night so that you can see and hear exactly what's going on. The agenda is put out there for people to come and sit and hear and listen and even speak at these meetings. So that's what I urge our community members and parents to do, is go straight directly to the source to see what is going on and what impacts our children.
So if you could wave a magic wand and fix one issue in public education overnight, what would it be?
You know, if I had that magic wand, so my answer is going to be a little complex, right? Because it's not just one thing that will fix what I think needs to be fixed, but there are two things that go together. So through that loophole, we'll just say it's one. One are the TEKS. The second is the STAR test. With the STAR test, I would obliterate it. Not abolish it, not take it away, but obliterate that STAR test, because that assessment tool is horrible for the state of Texas and the children of the state of Texas. The second thing I would do is I would revise the TEKS. I would go and look at the top 5 states of this nation and see what they are doing correctly and take the best of what they're doing and bring that to Texas. I mean, if you think of business-wise, when you have competition, as a business, if you're selling phones, you're looking at other phone companies, seeing what they're doing, i.e. Apple, when Apple changed the game with the iPhone. It shouldn't be that hard to create a system based off of the good things that other states do and bring it to Texas. But those two would go hand in hand. You change the way you're teaching the children, but then also when you assess them, you're not just assessing them with some type of penalized test. You're assessing them to measure growth and allowing an assessment that the teachers can go in and see where are these students deficient and how do I focus on those high yield concepts to get them to where we need to be. I mean, that's what I would do day one if I had that magic wand.
So since you've been on the school board, what would you say is your favorite AISD event or tradition so far?
There's so many events and traditions. Like the schools have different traditions. The district has different traditions. There's so many events that we get invited to. I think for me, outside of the first day of school, it's the graduations. It's seeing the culmination of what our students have achieved throughout the 12 or 13 years that they have been within the district. And to see them walk across the stage proud of accomplishing that one portion of what will be the start of their adult life. Most often people don't understand the significance of graduation. They don't understand the significance of what our students have worked for. From those who have gotten the highest marks and grades to those who have gone and gotten some type of certification to begin their career as soon as they've crossed that stage, and to those who decide, you know what, I'm gonna go serve our country in a capacity that allows me to work on my future, but also ensuring that I take care of the things that I need to take care of. It's the greatest event that I would say, as far as it's a rapid succession of graduations that we sit there for hours and hours over 2 days, but worthwhile to see the faces and joys on our students, their parents, and their relatives.
Okay, sounds good. Another question. What is the best advice you've received as a school board member?
I don't recall who said it, but several people said an iteration of it. Never forget the kids. In this capacity as a school board trustee, our number one person that we focus on are the kids, bar none. Every decision has to have that in the back of your mind. How will this impact our children? How will this impact their success? How will this impact their achievement? If it impacts negatively, that's something that you need to look at very, very hard and decide whether or not you want to move forward with that decision. But if it impacts positively, that's something that you are going to advocate and fight for every day until it occurs. And so I think that's something that can be applicable through all facets of not only life or decisions that you make, but all facets of government. If you're an elected official, the decisions that you make, it's easy to make a decision based on how it's going to impact you as an adult. But I think if we're able to flip that concept and think about how is this going to impact our future, and our future being the children, we may in turn make better decisions as elected officials by constantly keeping our kids at the forefront of our decision making. This is something that I urge everyone to do.
Final question, Larry. So what would you say is one thing that people misunderstand about the school board?
I think, or I believe, the one thing that people misunderstand about school boards, especially when it comes to campaign season, is that one person can change everything if they're on the school board. And that's not necessarily true in respect to making change for policy decisions or the direction that the school board goes. They can, in turn, make some type of change, but it would be the type of change where if they come in as a disruptor and not understanding that you've not only got to collaborate, but there are 7 of you, at least in Arlington ISD, there are 7 of us, and one may have an idea, But if you can't convince at least 4 other people that that idea is the way that the district should go, it's going to fail. Because it's not one person having all the power. You have no power by yourself. There are power in the 7 of you together. And you need at least 4 total to move something forward. So that's the fallacy that certain people think, is that if I just have this one, I can make all this change. No, all you're going to do is be a disruptor and not be able to make any change. And if we've looked at the news lately, or if we've looked at certain things with other school boards, a lot of negative attention on the school board is a detriment to the achievement or the success that you are trying to achieve as a district to help propel our students forward. So what I would say is anyone who's thinking about running for school board or being on the school board is focus on understanding how you as an individual can work together with the other people that are on the board to help institute policies that are best for our children.
Well, we would like to thank all you guys for tuning in for another episode of Talk for 10 podcast with Larry Mike. I enjoyed it.
I do too. And it's, it's a different perspective, being in there for a newly person or someone who's been there for a long time. So, but I do think we have a bunch of great people that are on school board right now. And I think they really have a mindset of what's best for the kids, and they're really trying to make an impact in the community.
Yes, ma'am. So if you're out there and you're listening, just know how important school boards, councils, and everything else within your community are. So we urge you to get out and vote for the right people, to put them in the right places so that the city of Arlington and the surrounding cities in the Metroplex can become the greatest they can possibly be.
Yeah.
So thank you again for watching Talk for 10 podcast with Paige and Eric. We would appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and hit the notifications button so you can stay tuned with what we can bring you guys every week.